Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we are looking at Umm Kulthum. Just saying the name evokes so much. The Star of the East.
Absolutely. A voice that, well, it didn't just entertain, it defined an era.
Defined it so much that her funeral in Cairo, what was the number? Something like 4.5 million people turned out.
It's staggering, isn't it? Hard to even picture that level of connection. It goes way beyond just being a singer.
It really does. And today we're diving into that using our source from Middle East Monitor. We want to understand the artist, sure, but also the phenomenon, why they called her Egypt's fourth pyramid.
Exactly. We're trying to unpack her artistry, her influence, and why her music still feels so relevant, so timeless today.
Yeah, what is it about her sound that still offers something unique, something calming maybe in our crazy fast world?
Yeah.
What made her such a cultural force?
Well, even her beginnings have this touch of mystery.
Right, the birth date isn't quite certain.
Yeah, exactly. Some sources say December 31st, 1898. Others point to May 4th, 1904. But we know she was born in a small village, Tamaya Zahira, north of Cairo. Very rural beginnings.
And her father was key early on, wasn't he? Her first teacher.
Yes, Sheikh Ibrahim al-Said al-Baltaji. He was the imam at the local mosque.
So her very first training was religious, reciting the Quran.
That's right. She started learning at just 5 years old.
5. Wow. And how did that, that specific kind of vocal training, the Quranic recitation, how did that influence her later singing, her unique sound?
Oh, profoundly. It's all about precision, articulation, incredible breath control, and a deep emotional connection, almost spiritual. That discipline, learned so young, gave her amazing stamina, but also this ability to convey really deep feeling, even in secular songs later on. It wasn't just hitting notes, it was the whole delivery.
So she has this amazing voice, this deep training. But performing publicly back then, especially as a girl, that must have been tricky.
It was, and this is where the story gets really interesting. To actually sing in public for neighbors, especially during Ramadan, she dressed as a boy.
She disguised herself.
Yes, to avoid, public disapproval, singing religious texts, reciting Quran. It shows incredible determination, right? Even that young, the drive was clearly there.
Absolutely. That kind of grit, dressing as a boy just to perform, it says so much. And that determination eventually took her to Cairo.
It did. In 1923, that was the big move, the cultural center.
And that's where things really took off professionally. Formal training.
Yeah, that's where she got serious voice coaching.
Yeah.
And she studied poetry and Arabic with Ahmed Rami, the famous poet.
Ahmed Rami. Didn't he write a lot of her songs?
He did, an incredible number, something like 137 songs just for her. They had this amazing collaboration, poet and singer perfectly matched.
137 songs from one writer. That's quite a partnership. And soon she was in elite circles.
Performing the homes of Egyptian aristocrats, even sang for King Farouk's birthday. Her voice just captivated people.
What was it about the voice itself? Composers were apparently queuing up to write for her.
Well, it was described as unique, hovering somewhere between masculine and feminine qualities.
Interesting.
It meant she had this incredible range, but also power and subtlety. She could deliver these huge, almost operatic lines and then bring it right down to something incredibly soft and emotional.
So versatile, defied easy labels.
Exactly, which made her incredibly exciting for composers. They all wanted to write for that voice.
And she was smart about reaching people, too, not just relying on live performance. Cinema was a big part of it.
Oh, definitely. Very strategic. She starred in 6 films.
6. And they were shown widely.
Yeah, not just Egypt. Across the Middle East, even Turkey. It massively expanded her audience, her reach.
But the real game changer, maybe the peak of her fame, came with radio.
Oh, absolutely. The live concerts on Egyptian radio, starting in 1937.
The first Friday of every month.
That was it. It became this huge cultural event. People planned their evenings around it. Families gathered. Shops might close. The whole region would literally pause to listen.
Just imagine that. An entire region stopping for one voice. She became more than a singer then, a national voice.
Absolutely. And pan-Arab, too. Her fan base was enormous, Morocco to Turkey, like you said.
And she used that platform, that influence, for Egypt itself.
She really did. She toured Arab countries, Morocco, Kuwait, Libya, Lebanon, and gave concerts specifically to benefit Egypt.
And then there's that extraordinary gesture the source highlights. Donating her wealth.
Yes, all of it. She gave her entire fortune to the Egyptian government.
All of it?
To help the country recover its standing financially and psychologically, after the Arab-Israeli Wars, particularly 1967.
It's more than generous. It's an unbelievable sacrifice for a global star. What does that tell us about her?
It shows this incredible depth of patriotism, right? It wasn't just symbolic. She literally put everything she had on the line for her country.
Yeah.
It really cemented her status. She wasn't just an entertainer anymore. She was like an embodiment of national resilience, national pride, part of Egypt's identity.
A true national icon. And that legacy, that feeling, it clearly endures long after her death in 1975.
Absolutely. I mean, think back to that funeral crowd, 4.5 million people. That alone tells you something about her lasting impact.
And people today still feel it so strongly. The Source, an Anadolu agency, spoke to people across the Arab world.
Yeah, and their words really capture it.
Adel Rahman Shaltout from Egypt. He said her voice shaped Eastern musical taste for decades. He called her a representation of the Eastern identity in human art. That's huge.
It really is, capturing identity through art. And then Sabrine Taha from Jerusalem offered a different take.
Right, about slowing down.
Yeah, that in today's fast world, her music is like a chance to just breathe, to slow down and enjoy life, a kind of sanctuary.
That makes sense. And for others, like George Marish from Syria, it's about nostalgia, childhood memories.
Tied deeply into personal history for so many. And Maha Said from Saudi Arabia, she called her the Star of the East, of course, but compared her impact to Michael Jackson's.
Wow, that's a big comparison.
Yeah, saying her music, like El Hub Kolo, is still played everywhere, just like his. Still current.
And Modesum Safi from Jordan picked up on that too, didn't he?
Yeah.
That her songs aren't like modern fleeting hits.
Exactly. He said they're timeless icons. Still trending, was his phrase, regardless of how old they are.
So when you put all that together, it's way more than just music, isn't it? What's the core thing that made her such a lasting cultural anchor?
I think she represented a kind of constancy. In a world that was changing so fast, especially in that region, she embodied something enduring, a connection to shared identity, to memory, and maybe, like Sabrine Taha said, a sense of calm.
It really is an incredible story. Kulthum, starting as a young girl in disguise in a village, driven by this passion, and becoming this towering figure, this national heroine, whose voice reached millions through new media like radio and film. An unmatched cultural footprint.
Her journey really shows the power of a single voice, doesn't it? And how deeply an artist can connect with the whole society.
Absolutely. So if we think about the bigger picture here, Kulthum's legacy seems to tell us that the real cultural icons, the ones that last, they aren't just amazing performers. They become woven into the very fabric of a society's identity. They become these timeless anchors, which makes you wonder what other figures, maybe from different art forms, managed to do that, to transcend their craft and truly embody the spirit of the people.